Good morning, Internet. So I was eating breakfast, reading my email, and I received the Six Strikes proposal. Same thing from the people of SOPA, PIPA, and everything else. So I went ahead and wrote them a letter. And I'll put a link in the description to the Demand Progress website where you can sign the petition to stop this BS once and for all. I'm going to go ahead and read you what I wrote, and if you would like to send a copy of it, you're more than welcome to it. Paraphrase, whatever you like. It's on my website. So here we go. The first paragraph is actually the default thing that's in the box. It says, "We oppose the Six Strikes proposal and the monitoring of users and interference with their internet connection which it entails. We urge you not to implement it and will make a point of purchasing service from ISPs that don't." Now here's where I added on. "It's not the job of internet providers to be nannies by throttling bandwidth or canceling user service for what they think is illegal file sharing. This will create enormous issues for anyone who works from home or depends on the internet heavily for commerce. ISPs will spend more money on intercepting packets to monitor data instead of investing in speeding up their infrastructure, causing average latency to increase and false finger pointing. It's not up to a small group of people, or even a computer, to decide whether or not I'm sharing files. That should only be judged in the court of law, and this is a removal of innocence before being proven guilty. This also stifles competition, innovation, and education. The same networks that are used for piracy are also used by artists and software developers alike to distribute their own original works. For example, every distribution on Linux is available on BitTorrent, which allows for a very fast download of what is usually on the order of gigabytes of data, or a few DVDs for those who don't know. Blocking BitTorrent traffic would gravely impact quality of service for any person open sourcing software, creating movies, music, or doing business. Whether we like to think so or not, piracy is actually a sort of market balancer. For those who download illegally, I feel it sends a signal to the industry, and we can agree on that for sure. It keeps prices from running rampant, keeps people from charging whatever they want. For example, if people had their own stills in their backyard, they could pick up a 55-gallon drum of high fructose corn syrup for, about $15 market price. And then they could create their own ethanol-based corn fuel. If enough people did this, it could potentially keep gas prices from skyrocketing out of control, because the oil companies know that if they charge too much, people will just get it themselves for pennies on the dollar. If it wasn't for the current course of history, we would be overpaying for CDs, Microsoft Windows, and Linux, a completely free computer operating system, may not have ever even left the launch pad, let alone continue on to become the world's most used server operating system, and even Androids and iPhones are based on some derivative of it. If it wasn't for file sharing services like BitTorrent, I would have never been able to acquire the documentation that I possess that allows me to repair vintage computers of yesteryear. Since companies no longer exist, there is no way to get this said documentation, so that's what I'm left to turn to. What if a company doesn't support their product anymore and refuse to give up documentation even if you offer to pay for it because they don't support it anymore? Chances are I could find the manual or software I need on a file sharing site. Say I never found that software to go with my digital camcorder, which otherwise works great, and without this software I cannot download anything off of it. Suddenly, a several $100 piece of electronics is useless, so I would need to buy a new one, creating more waste, and worse still, contributing to a throwaway society. If you do this, you could be personally responsible for killing technological innovation, free market, and open communication, not just for people subscribed to these ISPs, but the entire world. The fate rests in your hands. Please don't remove this power from ours. Thank you for reading. So, if you'd like to copy this letter and post it up, I highly encourage you to do so. We need to stop this bullshit. I mean, seriously. Keep the internet free. It's how I taught myself to do everything. I am somewhat college educated. I dropped out. Why? Because I learn it faster going my own way. It's just how it is. If you don't believe me, see my other videos. Till then, take it easy.